I trust you're doing well. Did you
Yes, I
enjoy
am.
the
Well,
Christmas?
after post-election activities, I guess so. I guess I did. I did.
It's been
And we
quite
are
an
hoping
eventful
for
month for
the
you.
the, the yes the upcoming years. Now that probably Nanado is on his way out, things could get better.
Well, Doc, let's talk about the police service. I know you do a
Hello.
lot of. Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, let's talk about the police service. I know you do a lot of work with the police service. There's a court order uh, that there's a court proceeding currently ongoing where a police officer went to court to say that a deputy IGP instructed him to defy police instructions from the top. Now, previously we heard of a private citizen going to court to challenge whether or not deputy IGP was an illegibility. But let me ask you, did the police service, did government machinery, did government itself perpetrate an illegality with the appointment of a deputy IGP?
Well, it's a sub judice. Good morning to your listeners, and I think today is the 30th, and so belated Merry Christmas to your listeners, and also Happy New Year in advance to your listeners and your colleagues, your wonderful colleagues, Ibrahim and Saki, all of them, the guys Lantam. This morning I was listening to you, and I couldn't afford not to listen. So you guys are doing well. Yes,
Okay.
the issue in contention now is sub judice. So I wouldn't want to go into it. But when you look at the police's own, regulation, the Police Act and all that, it looks like there is an issue there. But let's leave that for the gods and then the lords of the courts and then the courts to decide. I am sure, when these private citizens, there are two private citizens. One of them went to court, and immediately the Attorney General quickly backed a retreat and said, and now started referring to the position as Deputy IGP. This time around, the Attorney General decided to cleverly avoid using Deputy IGP in charge of operations. And I thought, it means there are a lot of issues there, because then if the appointment, the person as Deputy IGP in charge of operations and the issue is in court, why then do you, in your response to the court, begin to refer to the person as Deputy IGP simpliciter and not Deputy IGP operation? So, for me, I think that there are a lot of issues around it, but I wouldn't want to go there. I don't want to be in contempt of court, but I think there are issues there that the court would have to decide whether such an appointment is legitimate or illegitimate. But I can tell you that, I think there are issues there, but let's allow the court to go into it. But mine is that 3 months into an election, it doesn't happen. It won't happen in any serious country where 3 months into an election, you are going to appoint a deputy IGP and add operations to come and do what? Is a question a lot of Ghanaians have been asking even up to today. Why did you not do it 1 year ago? You know that we all know that the recent elections we are still dealing with was something that was not going to go without the usual drama, without the usual things. Someone attempting to rig and all that. And so once you do that, it opens that Pandora's box. People begin to talk, and and as far as I'm concerned, it's something that I still have questions that have not been answered, even though probably privately, I know what the outgoing government attempted to do with that appointment. I know what that they attempted to do with that appointment, if you ask me, Lily.
But Doc, I mean, let's look at security-wise. It isn't necessary that every president will appoint people that he's comfortable with to head his security.
Well, I think that issue is also in contention in court. You know, my colleague, Professor Ennin, I think CDD, that is CDD, and a couple of private citizens have challenged the appointment, because then the Ghana Police Service, the Immigration Service, and the rest come under the Public Service Commission. And therefore, if they come under the Public Service Commission, it means that such appointment, if you ask me, would have to be treated as it is in the Constitution. But unfortunately, it looks like that has not been the case. And because it's in courts, I would not want to go into the pros and cons of all that. But, you know, there is a good reason why, without any, call it, any adverse findings against the EC chair or an EC commissioner or the CJ, the Chief Justice, and the SHRAG boss and the SHRAG commissioners and all these positions. There's a reason why an incoming administration will not just get up and appoint them. Appointment of heads of security, including, you know, the IGP and the rest. I don't see how that becomes more powerful than the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. I don't see how that becomes more powerful than the what's the name? The SHRAG boss. Because administratively, if you are aggrieved, the place you want to go to, if it is not the High Court or the court, would be the semi or the quasi, you know, court of the SHRAG, of the Ombudsman. You want to go there, and they have a lot of power to undo what even presidents have done. And so if they come in and they cannot remove such persons, then mine is that, like I said, the court would have to decide whether an incoming leader should be able to just say, by just signing a letter and sending it to you, you have been sent home, even though you are not, you are nowhere closer to retirement. Those who probably are on extension contract, they've gone on retirement, the mandatory 60 years they've reached, and maybe have been given the privilege to stay on. With that, I don't think there will be an issue. But when the person, assuming you appoint someone who is less than 60, and you want to send the person home, well, let's leave the court to decide. You know what happened to Domlovo, a good old Domlovo. He was asked to go home earlier than the mandatory 60 years he was supposed to reach. In fact, he went home before the Supreme Court decided, you know, said no, he's being sent home. The court decided he's being sent home. It was an illegality. But at that point, it couldn't have led to him coming back. But it is for the good of our legal and, you know, democracy that the court decided on such matters. So I think that, yes, the president should be able to do it. But I want to believe that if you are appointed as, let's say, head of immigration, police, and fire, and the rest, your allegiance should be to the state and not the appointor. Your allegiance should be to the state. And that is, you know, one leader comes, fires everybody, is one thing that has probably further divided us. So the moment there's change of leadership, then you see a lot of people scheming. Even when, let's say, John Mama comes, you see others also beginning to lobby that this person should go. But if you know that there's no adverse findings against, let's say, CJ, the Chief Justice, or SHRAG boss, and it's not up to retirement, You cannot just go to the incoming president if he's sworn in on the 7th. That remove the CJ or remove the Shrad boss, my brother Joseph Wutao, for you to be the new boss. Because you know that the law forbids the president from just doing that. But unfortunately, looks like that hasn't been so. So let's allow the court to decide. When the court decides, I'm sure that, everybody would have to abide by it, including, whoever is the president at the time when the court, decision comes out. It's very important that with these persons who went to court, there are 10 of them who actually went to court. It's not one. But it is one of them's sworn statement or affidavit that looks to be trending now, alleging that, COP Yohonu actually asked them to defy the police, the police transfer board, because then, according to him, they were recruited, one Jalilu, ASP Jalilu, and I know Jalilu very well. You know the person who beat up DSP Nankam Bruce. Jalilu is the one who led the beating of DSP Nankam Bruce in Jubilee House in 2017.
Oh, I see.
After the NDC lost. Yes, after the NDC lost the 2016 elections. It's Jalilu who lost, and the images are there. The images are there. He led the beating of DSP. He's retired now, DSP Nankam Bruce. It led to the beating of. And so he is the same person who has been captured in the court affidavit, and he is with the police MTTD. So for him to have come from MTTD, he's not the boss, he's not the Director General of Ghana Police, Motor Traffic Department. And he's only crossed the other rank and to be, an assistant superintendent of police. In terms of senior police officers, ASPs, that is where you start from. And this person, he was in WA some time ago. I mean, he was in my home region some time ago. He was one of the guys who shot and killed somebody, and WA erupted into serious violence, if you remember. Someone was shot in WA, and for a very long time, the whole of WA was in turmoil. Yes. I personally spoke to him around that time when the killing happened, and he was directly linked to that killing. And so he was, but that issue still has not been investigated. Even if it's been investigated, nothing has happened to it. Is the same person, Dalilu, who, has said so many things, and I keep asking myself that someone who was sacked in the Ghana Police Service, eventually 2017, after the beating of DSP Nankam Bruce, he was reinstated in 2017 as an inspector, and straight they sent him to college, police college, and he became ASP afterwards. And this is the person who, after the killing in WA, they brought him to Accra to be part of the police MTTD. And what has he done? And now, during election, he is the one who allegedly is captured in the court document, being sent to recruit PID officers for D-Day operations. And I am aware of everything. I have conversations. I'm aware of everything. I'm sure we might have to discuss this another day, but I'm aware of everything. And I personally told COP Yohonu that these elections would not be rigged. I told him, if Yohonu would be candid with you, I personally told him that before the elections, when he was appointed, I told him that you have been appointed to aid in rigging an election. But I'm telling him that Ghanaians will not allow any rigging. And these persons are alleging that he recruited 10 of them from PID. How can PID itself has Director General of Police Intelligence Department? Okay, I know him very well. And I know the Director General of MTTD. I know him too. Jalilu is nowhere closer to any of these positions, any of these ranks. So for him to go around recruiting, in fact, of other ranks from PID, allegedly, according to the court documents, for D-Day police operations. No, if anybody wants officers to be used for any operations, if the operations are clean operations and are sanctioned, you would make a request to the Director General of the department or the unit. The Director General will then release those officers for you if your stated reasons are good. But from what has been captured, when probably the police hierarchy head of, when they picked intel that this was what was going to happen, they quickly needed to make sure these people don't stay at one place. So they transferred them, I'm told, to various locations. And according to, I am not saying it, it's in the document, it's in the court document. They were, the COP Yohonu, deputy, I actually asked them not to go, and they should go and make entries. Not to go. How do you tell junior ranks, other ranks, to defy authority? So President Mama is sworn in as President of the Republic on the 7th. And President Mama decides to, reshuffle his cabinet. And touch wood, the affable, what's the name? Vice President, Her Excellency Nana, tells those people, don't go. And the Vice President, don't go anywhere, defy the President. Hello, who is the President of the Republic? So it's the same thing if you want to look at it from that angle.
But Doc, over the period, I mean, the police service has been in the eyes of the public for some time. And the concerns we've raised is discipline. Is discipline broken in the police service?
Well, you see, so long as you have the likes of my brother Yohonu, I mean, and he knows I know a lot about these things. So he goes around asking some media persons to drag me. In fact, unfortunately for him, the documents in court now has exposed him badly. Because if you have persons like him are supposed to have known better, undermining the institution for their own interests, selfish interests, then, my dear Lily, we have a big problem. I can tell you, I was with you and your colleagues in GH1 prior to D-Day and D-Day and post-D-Day. And you know what I said about the military.
Yeah.
The military has more problems than the police. But do you hear military officers doing what some police officers do? No. Because at least they respect their internal structures. You won't see a military officer writing like I would do as a civilian, saying things like I would do as a civilian. But in the Ghana Police Service, everybody thinks he's a champion. Everybody thinks he knows because he's connected to one political party or the other. And some of us have said that until such a time that an IG, their position, these things, we make them devoid of the politics and the drumming and the drama that goes, with it. We are going to continuously have officers who feel entitled. Like I mentioned Jalilu. Jalilu was not in the service. He had been dismissed before 2016 elections. When after 2016 elections, when the MPP won, he was quickly brought and promoted to go to police college. Okay? As against ethics and morality and morals and morale in the Ghana Police Service. He came back and what is he doing? He's the same person who was almost recruited to undermine the 2024 elections if it hadn't been the vigilance of all of us. And so the bickering, the gossip, and the undermining And no, none of them will go home with the police service. And so it's been in the public eye. Can you imagine how the police ensured that we had a very good elections without, the military coming in because they stood their grounds and did their work? And instead of celebrating them, you have police officers in court, and they went to court before the election. So they went to court challenging their transfer before the elections. I don't know who advised them, but they went to court before the election challenging their transfer. And their own statement now is those who actually orchestrated this evil, demonic, idea of attempting to rig the elections. And what is in court, I won't want to discuss that. But mine is that you asked a very relevant question. Why would anybody, under normal circumstances, ask subordinates to defy a whole institution? Why your boss is Bolare? Then Bolare decides to transfer you from maybe TV GH1 to Starr FM. Then if you have a deputy CEO, the deputy CEO tells you with audacity that do not go. And it finds its way in court. It's a sworn affidavit. So the police officers who have sworn to that, if they go, and if COP Yohonu goes to court to say he denies, they would be cited for perjury. And perjury is criminal. So mine is that there are a whole, a lot of things that I'm sure at the right time we would have to find time and speak about posts or maybe what happened. Some of us were deeply involved in the rebellion that ensured that Nanado's reign would come to an end, the oppressive regime will come to an end. But you see, those who nearly aided the rigging of these elections, we need to mention them by name and mention them by rank. And today, some of them are those parading around, trying to bring other people down. And I say that, why? But fortunately, these things have found their way, Lily, into the court domain. And now it's public. I'm not the one saying it too. It is public. 10 police officers with the with the PID, the Police Intelligence Department, have gone to court challenging us and saying that COPONU asked not to a transfer elections. I had conversations with COPONU, and I told him that this is your appointment. Be careful. There are several things he knows. So he goes around telling people a lot of things that he knows I know already, thinking that would. And I'm not the person who fired the first shot. He started firing everywhere, and it was just misfiring. And now the court document have exposed him and those boys he wanted to use very badly. And I think that those who have ears should listen, because a lot of things took place before elections. A lot of things took place on D-Day, and a lot of things are taking place as we speak. And you people, I was in your studio, but you don't know what the information some of us were receiving and putting out. So sometimes you will think that, I'm just saying them without you people know. I don't speak when I don't have the facts. And everything I said when I was with you guys were things that the team I was working with, some of them serving, in various units, indicated how people, officers, others have been, penciled to rig the elections. So once some of us pick the intel, the idea is to ensure that the election, anyone who wins the elections, it has to be won on a clean slate. You can't win the election through rigging. The election, some of us were held bent that no one will win this election. This year's election would be won, but it won't be through rigging. And we prevented it, and I'm happy it was prevented with everything we had. And so for me, Lily, I think that let's see the incoming days very, very pregnant. And so at the right time, I'm sure we have to do proper post-election conversation, because these things about rigging elections and all that, I knew everything. And there was a proper rebellion team put together to ensure that nobody would rig the elections. Nobody would rig the elections. Nobody. Anyone who had to win, if it was going to be MPP, let MPP win the election on their own strength in terms of people voting for them. If there was the NDC, now the NDC won. NDC won the election not because NDC rigged the election, but because Ghanaians felt that we are under Nane's oppressive regime and he has to go. We won't allow anybody to rig the elections. How Yonu got involved, I know. And so I will tell you for sure that as far as I'm concerned, they themselves have gone to court and have exposed themselves. They are 10 officers. Just look for, I'll look for it and
Hello, sir. Hello? Oops. I think we lost him there. But that's Dr. Adam Bona. He is a security analyst. He says, and the coming days will do a bit of postmortem of the election 2024 and election security.